U.S. strategy in Ukraine challenged by changing contours of Russia-China understanding in Ukraine. U.S. policy has pushed Russia and China together on an issue where the two countries do not see eye to eye, according to a U.S. magazine. Russia and China's interests in Ukraine diverge in terms of strategically and economically. Russia's worry about a potential threat from Ukraine's territory, which is of little relevance for China until in recent past. Further, economically, they have adversarial interests. Russia would love to get its hands on Ukraine's resources while China would resist such a thing from happening. Beijing imports iron ore, grain, oil, fats, and ferrous metal from Ukraine to diversify its supply chains and does not wish Russia to take over, according to the national interest. Earlier, 10 years ago, China and Ukraine entered into a strategic partnership which, on its 10-year anniversary June 2021, was applauded by both sides. However, U.S. will make sure that its Ukraine policy doesn't push Russia and China together, according to national interest. Meanwhile, since 1972, it has been a cornerstone of U.S. foreign and security policy to divide China and Russia. Any attempt to form an understanding or even worse an alliance tacit, written, or embryonic directed against the United States should be derailed. President Richard Nixon and Henry Kissinger visited China in 1972 precisely to break up what was thought to be a Chinese-Soviet alliance, writes Jürgen Ostermoeller according to the national interest. Further, China and Russia have differences in many issues and military skirmishes over border disagreements have taken place between them. On the other hand, Russia, as one of the largest net exporters of fossil fuels, benefits from a high oil price. China, the biggest net importer, benefits from a low price. Further, on the major issue of climate change, they disagree too. On December 13, this year Russia vetoed a United Nations Security Council resolution casting the climate crisis as a threat to international peace and security. China abstained. A month earlier at the UN Climate Conference, Beijing signed an agreement with the United States. Despite the above challenges in Ukraine, U.S. still, by far, the strongest country in the world. Therefore, it remains possible for adept U.S. diplomacy to prevent China and Russia from forming a strategic alliance up to each other, writes Jürgen Ostermoeller for the national interest. Therefore, if Russia and China pose more challenges to U.S. global position, America will have to do better to reaffirm its supremacy.